What's up?
Now I start sneezing, right?
Yeah, welcome back, everybody, to Outside the Cinema, your weekly source for cult movie discussions. We're your hosts, Bill and Chris, and we're back to talk about movies. This week, we're doing a Nick Frost double feature.
Yeah.
I just said last week we were getting back to doing like older stuff, and then Chris picked two movies, one from 2024 and then one from like 2022. So we're nothing if not consistent in being inconsistent.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, we're doing the recently released Getaway.
Yep.
And we're doing Black Cab, both of which are available to stream and watch on Shudder currently. I think they're actually both Shudder exclusives.
Yes, they are.
Not Shudder originals. Shudder exclusive.
Right. Which I'm okay with, because even the exclusives, they seem to vet them, and they're at a decent level to start with and go up.
Oh yeah, Shudder doesn't put their name on just anything.
Not yet.
If you think of the glut of thousands and thousands of horror films and genre flicks that are made every year that nobody ever sees.
Yeah.
Like, they don't put their name on just anything. But Nick Frost is a proven commodity.
Yeah.
So they are involved here. Yeah. All right. I think we don't really have a whole lot of housekeeping. I guess the one thing we do have to mention is that we will be doing the start of season 17 coming up on... It'll be... Oh, it's actually longer than I thought it was. Oh, yeah, because there's 31 days this month.
Oh.
The show we will be recording on February 3rd is where we will start the new season of OTC. Start year 17. We'll be going over the top 6 and bottom 6 films we reviewed on the film on the show last year, or in the past year. And if you would like to get involved in that, you feel free to send us an email. If you're on the Patreon, which of course is patreon.com/outsidethecinema, you can send a message there. You can send us an email at outsidethecinema@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on social media. Most of you guys follow us there, so you can find it. And just let us know maybe some favorite films you may have discovered in the last year, or anything that's OTC related.
Yeah. That's pretty wide. So
yeah. It's the type of thing where, people still listen, but the engagement is nothing like it used to be. Obviously, we still get comments on Patreon. Someone took a I won't say their names, but like someone took offense to Scott's review of Nosferatu last week when Scott said that the mustache was very distracting.
Oh, okay. What?
And somebody was like, "Well, that's what people looked like then." So, and they kind of like, I think it was in good humor and not.
I'm sure.
And it was like, so maybe if you pick up a book,
yeah.
Which I think we said too at the time. We were like, but that's what.
Yeah, it's a Dracula. He was basically described as Vlad the Impaler with the mustache and all that stuff. Yeah. You just don't with Nosferatu. You don't think of him with a big mustache. Think of him with pointy ears, nose, and teeth, little rat teeth.
And that's because every presentation we've ever seen of him, that's what he looks like.
Yeah, because he's a rip-off character.
Yeah, I mean, he is. So it's the type of thing though where you can't win either way.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, you can't.
Like, you make it look like the other characterizations we've seen of Nosferatu, and you're lazy for not doing your own thing.
Yeah.
Then you do your own thing, and people are like, well, I don't like the coat, or I don't like the mustache, or I don't like this. Like, it's that's not what he's supposed to look like. But then you make him what people think he's supposed to look like, and then it's well, you're being lazy and you're not being creative. So it's like it's a no-win situation.
Someone will always have a problem with everything you do. Someone always
agreed.
Will.
I will say that the mustache was a bit distracting, but not because he had it for me, but because it was very well groomed for a person who is a living dead creature that's been around for thousands of years or whatever, Okay. It was very meticulously groomed and nice and like bushy, full, like mustache. That was my issue with it. Was like, well, it should, because the rest of him looked ratty. It wasn't like he wasn't the Gary Oldman Dracula, the Bela Lugosi Dracula. He was, half rotted corpse, half, or 25% animal, 25% rotten corpse, 25% whatever. that's what I found distractive about it. Not that it was there, but that it was too clean and well kept.
Okay. I still need to see it. So
yeah, it's like I said, it's worth seeing. It's worth seeing. I think it's too long.
Yeah.
But I mean, I still think it's worth checking out for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, all right.
I'll get there eventually.
All right, so let's get into these reviews this week. I will say Getaway is a very recent release.
There is like 3 days ago as of our recording this.
Yeah. It says it's listed as 2024, but it released to Shudder in 2025.
Yeah, probably. What are we talking? Festivals and stuff?
I think so, yeah. Because it was definitely made in the UK by UK people.
Yeah.
So it probably maybe it was released there and then Shudder picked it up for release everywhere else.
Yeah.
And there's a pretty big twist in it. So since it's so new, we will do our best to do a spoiler-free review of it. But no, going ahead that we could slip. We'll try not to. Yeah. But if you want to watch it before you listen to the review, you'll be good to go because there is, like I said, there's a twist in it that changes everything. So we will do our best to do a spoiler-free review, which means it's going to probably be a pretty short review because the twist is really where the movie lives and breathes.
Yeah.
And then Black Cab, also a Shudder. Well, that's listed as a Shudder original.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and that was last year too. I thought that was a little bit older.
Oh,
that's 2024.
Maybe you're thinking of was it Dead End? That was also in a black car, and it was at night, and had to do with like horror-y stuff.
Maybe. Yeah. I just thought I saw it up there for more often than than I had. But anyway, all right. So, do you have a specific one you want to start with?
Not really. No, this time, no. I mean, I was like, okay, when we watch this, because we've been looking forward to Getaway. We like Aisling B.
Yeah, I like her too.
I'm like, hey, well, I don't want to watch the one where he's the cab driver first.
Okay,
because that might influence my impression of him in the second movie since I watch them so close together.
Fair. All right. Well, let's do Black Cab first because I have that information in front of me. Let's see how we do with the trailer here.
Listen, Anne and I have a little announcement to make. We're getting married.
Hey! Congratulations!
Anne, the window's tinted. Can't see her.
Good night, then. I've picked you up before, haven't I? The hospital.
Hospital?
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. St Mary's maternity.
What's he talking about?
He doesn't know, does he?
I'm getting out.
Hey, unlock the doors.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can leave us here.
No, I can't do that. Shut your fucking mouth!
Quick, the window!
Pair of pricks. Fucking behind this house!
I need a loo.
Don't worry, we'll make regular stops. Oh, look, Anne, poor Patrick's crying.
Where are we going?
You believe in ghosts, Anne? When she appears, she's always after the same thing. The child. She's waiting for us. You've seen her, haven't you? Yeah, she has. She's seen her.
All right, Black Cab 2024. This is a Shudder original. It came out in November. Actually, it's only been out for a couple months, so this is a pretty new one too. This one though doesn't have a twist or a spoiler that I think will change the outcome of the movie. So I feel like we can probably talk pretty freely about it. Directed by Bruce Goodson, who also worked on. Let's see here. Nothing. Well, no, I mean a bunch of stuff, but nothing that like would fall into OTC fairs. He's done a lot of, looks like a decent amount of British television, and specifically war stuff.
Okay.
And like news related stuff.
Okay.
And with a few like movies mixed in, like Silent Witness.
Oh.
Which I've never heard of. But I mean, yeah, he's a dude.
Okay.
He's working.
Okay.
He's paying the bills. It's also written by Virginia Gilbert with Nick Frost putting his 2 cents in also. So yeah, starring Nick Frost, Sinead Carlson, Luke Norris. Those are really the only 3 people that matter. The explanation for the film, or the synopses for the film on IMDb, says a couple's jovial cab ride diverts them to a remote haunted road, revealing disturbing motives and true intentions.
No.
No.
Not even
No.
close.
No. So this movie, it has a number of problems going. Not to like spoil the review right off the bat, but there's a lot of issues. And first and foremost, its presentation is, and in that trailer, like they give you all the information, but like in the film itself, it's presented in this very convoluted, confusing way that is also very simplistic at the same time, if that makes any sense.
This is basically the hook-handed hitchhiker kind of story.
Well, it's
right?
very much an urban legend influenced story. Right from the get-go, we meet Anne. She has this weird vision of a ghost in her dream. She's riding in the back of a cab, and there's a ghost in the cab with her, and she wakes up all freaked out. We see her look at a ring. She goes to put it on and decides not to put it on. And then she goes to dinner with her. I mean, I guess it's her fiance or boyfriend. That's Patrick, played by Luke Norris, and their 2 friends, Jessica and Ryan, and they're having a dinner together.
Yeah.
And Bark, shut up. The story that Patrick is telling at the dinner table is the classic urban legend of, what was it? Now I'm drawing a blank on it.
Me too.
But it's like one of those like very common urban legends. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on this. What the hell was it?
Was it a hitchhiker one? Yeah, it was the back seat, right? There's a guy in the back seat. The car's been following you.
Yes.
Yeah.
The flashing of the lights. And
Yeah.
then the lady thinks that she's being chased by this car, and he's actually really trying to warn her of a person hiding in the backseat with a knife. So he tells that story, and that kind of is like our foot in on what Black Cab is, which is a confusing retelling of The Lady in White, which is the woman on the side of the road.
Yeah.
She looks lost. She looks like she needs help. Somebody stops to pick her up, and then you drop her off, but then she's not in the car anymore when you go to open the door to let her out. It's a very common urban legend that's been told, many times in many different ways, but that's basically what it is.
Yep.
So we have Nick Frost, who plays Ian, who is the cab driver. We learn that Patrick is, despite telling them that him and Anne are getting married, he's just a fucking asshole. Like,
yeah, he is.
No question. Like, they present him immediately as just a dick. Mean to her, rude.
Yeah, he's an abusive boyfriend, plain and simple.
Abusive boyfriend. Yeah. And we're led on that he had cheated on her at some point, but like he won't own up to it, but she knows that he did. And she just she surprisingly doesn't want anything to, I shouldn't say surprisingly because he seems like a dick, but like doesn't want anything to do with him. She gets mad at him for telling the friends that they were getting married. It seemed like maybe it was one of those things where they hadn't really fully discussed it yet, and he just took it upon himself to be like, yeah, we're getting married. So the 2 of them go to leave. Anne wants to leave by herself. She's like, I'm going to go home on my own. And Patrick's like, no, I'm fucking coming with you. You told me I could stay over tonight. And she's like, I'd really just rather leave on my own. And he just basically grabs her by the arm and drags her into the cab.
Yeah.
So Nick Frost opens the doors for them. They get into the cab and they're off. Now, so far, so good. They're, the idea of the cabbie kidnapping them for whatever reason, I'm on board with it. I feel like, okay, this is a good story. He knows things about her. He remembers that he picked her up when leaving the hospital.
Yeah.
And it was the maternity ward he picked her up at. So the assumption is that she's pregnant. Patrick gets all fucking pissed off at her because he doesn't know this. And he makes a big thing out of it. And then Nick Frost's character is like, you got to calm down, man. What's your deal? Like, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and the thing that I thought was weird is they get in the car and he's like, where we heading? And he's like, don't just drive.
Yeah, I don't like those people.
Like, no cabbie's going to be like, okay. I mean, I've never gotten into a cab and said, where you going? Just drive.
No, because
Like-
I've never had the Men in Black chasing me or whatever. It's just not a thing.
Right. But I mean, Patrick wants to basically yell at her and scald her and make her feel bad for everything while they're driving around. And Nick Frost's character asks a number of times where we're going, what's going on. He's like, just shut up and fucking drive.
Yep.
So they do.
Yeah.
We get more of them fighting, more of Nick Frost putting his 2 cents into everything. He's singing along with songs on the radio, and it's starting to piss Patrick off. And I get that part of it. That's the one thing that he did that I was like, okay, because I would be really frustrated with that too if I was like in the back of a cab.
Yeah.
And this guy was just like cranking the radio and singing a song at the top of his lungs and not being like, oh, you guys okay with this?
Yeah. On a second watch, it's even better because now you know why he's doing what he's doing.
Right.
So
yeah.
it's a little funnier, I think, on a second watch because Nick Frost is known obviously as a comedian, but he's not comedic in this full time.
No,
he has
yeah,
moments.
It's a bizarre tone because obviously, Nick Frost is best known for Shaun of the Dead, World's End, Paul.
I think his character's supposed to kind of be like panicked and at the end of his rope. So uneven behavior isn't out of the question, maybe. I don't know.
Well, I mean, as we learn things, but it's just all very confusing. He's telling stories about his wife and his son, and then as we continue to go, there's a point where they stop. He says he needs to get a map out of the trunk, and they're like, "Got a map?" He's, I'm old school. He's like, I trust the map, and I'm like, all right, whatever. That's fine.
Yeah.
But he actually gets a cattle prod.
Yeah.
Opens the door when Patrick says, "Hey, you got to let us out. You got to let us out." And he opens the door and shocks him with the cattle prod.
What I'll let out is the pee in your bladder.
Right, exactly. And then now we realize that he's abducting them.
Yes.
And he zip ties their hands to the rest in the car and then was like, all right, we're going. And he starts talking to Anne about all these different things. And then a little before the halfway point, he starts talking about this woman that he picked up. And basically he says, he's like, she's a ghost, but she came and she took my child and like all of this different stuff.
Yeah.
Now, where this film, I think, would have succeeded rather than going the route they did was if this was all in his head. And he was losing his mind because, he accidentally killed his child or
a Session 9 kind of thing.
Yeah, and he's created a scenario in his He's created a scenario in his head where this ghost is there. And they kind of hint at that a little bit, but then it becomes painfully apparent and concrete in the final third of the film that there is a ghost and there is a thing going on and there's a supernatural thing happening here because it affects Anne too, because we learned something about her and it changes the whole plan that was that Nick Frost's character was having. But then she sees it. She has seen the ghost too. Like we saw it at the beginning. She's seen it in the mirror. She's seen it in the back, and she sees it in the street.
That's how the movie starts, is by seeing her her nightmare about the girl.
So all of this is fine and good, but for me, none of it works because you're not given information.
Yeah,
really on anything. And Nick Frost as a character is an unreliable narrator because he doesn't changes his story a few times. And, it's just none of the pieces didn't fit together. It felt like, am I way off base here? Did you get that?
I was liking it. And then it hit the point where they went to his apartment and then they leave to get back on the road. And for the
his apartment is a rundown hotel, a rundown motel on the side of the road.
For the life of me, I could not figure out or remember why they had to stop there. Do you remember?
Well, I mean, he made it seem like they were stopping there and waiting for the ghost to show up.
That's what I thought.
Because the ghost does show up there.
Okay.
And then they leave.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they then left.
I think
Anne's obviously trying to get away.
Because it has to happen, whatever Nick's plan is, has to happen on the road, right?
But then why did they go there? And there's a point where he's like, oh, she's here.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't go back because I watched it last night before I went to bed. I didn't go back and check that again. But that did seem like, we I don't know, what do we do here? We got to get some exposition, but I don't know. I don't know. It's just a weird part of the movie. It'd be like if you're watching Clockwork Orange and they stop to go see a play for 15 minutes. It wouldn't be out of place, but it'd be a little weird.
Right. Right. Exactly. And so then, like, the thing with Ian, Nick Frost's character, is that, like, as we said, he's unreliable in the information he's giving. So is this like a regular thing for him? Is he like a serial killer that abducts people and then like kills them? Or like, is he continuously making sacrifices to this ghost or whatever it is? Like, you're not given any of that.
My idea was that he's going to bring someone to the ghost, but he's not going to actively go look for them. If a pregnant woman happens to come into his car, fucking plans on.
Right.
And that's why I think he verified with her, hey, didn't you? And then, so once that's confirmed,
maybe.
I don't know. That's what I was thinking.
My biggest problem is this movie can't decide if it wants to be a supernatural horror film or a gritty abduction thriller. And it walks the line of trying to do both of those things and then falls apart for both of the narratives that they're trying to tell because it doesn't really fit or work with either of them.
Yeah. I mean, it has a definitive ending, which I appreciate, but I don't know if I
It has a definitive ending, but they also then leave out like a ton of stuff and it just kind of ends.
Yeah.
It is a definitive ending for sure.
Yeah.
But I was left wanting some of the information.
Right. I did like the things that were revealed to the characters and the audience at the end. That was fun. That was, you know, a powerless situation, blah, 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 all that. But yeah, the whole curse or whatever was happening wasn't as clear as it should have been. It definitely needed the story that I mean, it would have been lazy, but he should have been telling a story like the ghost girl, not the guy in the back of the car kind of thing. Because they don't even, that's not even, it's not foreshadowing. It's nothing.
Right. It's not all bad. It looks good. It's shot very well.
There is some,
especially in the first half of it. It is very claustrophobic. The way that the dark roads are shot with like the mist and like it all looks very good. But I didn't have enough other things to really keep me locked in, I guess.
Yeah, there were some really interesting decisions with being out of focus and the lenses chosen for the distance that the characters are from the camera. Some, really like get out of my face kind of stuff going on. And there's something inherently creepy about looking out the back of a car, but having it lit with white light and the tail lights, because that's not supposed to happen. You don't you don't have bright lights out of the back of your car. It's gonna mess with other people. And so that instantly just kind of puts me on edge because it's unnatural in like every sense of how lighting works when you're driving. It's almost like they they put red lights on the front of the car, drove forward, and then reversed it. It's weird.
There's a weird lighting thing going on when they're at the rundown hotel too, because there's a part where she escapes and she gets herself outside, and there's like a row of lights that are illuminating the whole thing. But when they pulled in, none of that was there. So
yeah,
I think Joe in the chat room says that it sounds like it's an incomplete film, and it honestly does feel like that.
I think I'm gonna watch it again because
I will not.
There's because I need to know now. Was it too late at night for me? Did I miss a line of dialogue? I don't know. I really don't. So not soon, but not long. I'll give it another shot.
That's fair. All right, Chris, do you recommend and what is your grade for Black Cab?
I'm going to recommend this, but it's going to be one of those, it's okay to talk through some of it, hang out with people kind of thing. Maybe see if you can guess what's going to happen. That's always fun. And I'm going to give it a C+. I liked it. I think it could be better, like you were saying, 100%. But it wasn't the crap that I thought it was going to be.
Okay. I'm not recommending it. I didn't like it. There was just too many holes, too much confusion, and like we got all these revelations in the second half of the film when we got nothing in the first half of the film, and then none of the stuff really lined up for me.
Okay.
I will say it looked really good.
Yeah.
I thought they were able to convey the claustrophobic feel that they were trying to get. The shots of the dark roads with the mist looked really cool, but outside of that, I didn't get anything out of it. I was frustrated with the story they were telling and why they weren't telling the other stories. It was frustrating. So I can't recommend it. Nick Frost and his portrayal of the cabbie Ian, I thought was like good.
Yeah,
like he did a good job with what he was given. Well, he actually also helped write it. So
yeah, but we don't know how much. I mean, it could have been.
No, that's true. That's true. So anyway, D+.
Okay.
I didn't like it.
All right. That's fair.
So, all right then. Next up, Getaway. 2024, just released on Shudder this past week. Directed by Stefan Haars, written by Nick Frost. Here is a trailer.
So in 1824, the whole island quarantined itself until most people had either died or had turned to cannibalism.
Ho, ho, ho. Thank you for the info.
You're welcome, Daddy.
Gross.
Can we buy tickets here for the ferry?
Where are you going?
We're going to Svolta.
You cannot go there.
We've actually booked a B&B.
Look, hang on. Here, have a look.
Richard,
Shush. All right, let's go.
Do enjoy your time on Svalta. It will be short.
Thank you.
This is your mother's house.
Yeah, she was born here.
And is she still with us?
Sadly, no. She was murdered right there in her favorite chair.
Jesus.
Sorry.
Get up out of that chair.
What's going on?
We've come on holiday to a Swedish horror film.
I feel like we are being watched.
Is this about last night?
What happened last night?
What do we do?
I'm not going to be scared away by these people.
Bringing those people here was wrong. We will put things right.
Coming here was a big mistake for you.
Why?
Well, we better get on.
I thought we were just going to scare them off.
I love you, Mummy.
The English must be offered up.
Ever since we came to Svalto, we have felt nothing but unwelcome.
Our debt must be paid.
Welcome to Svalta. They are mostly harmless.
Everything is fine.
I was like, I'm gonna watch this. Absolutely, I'm gonna see this. But that scene at the end with the guy on fire running through the dark woods, I'm like, okay, now I need to see this. That's okay. Somebody understands horror comedy. Great.
Yeah. As we said, this is written by Nick Frost. And they says in the trailer from the mind of Nick Frost. So this is him. He wrote this. This is his story.
Yeah.
I am really glad that trailer doesn't give away the twist. As I put the trailer on, I realized I hadn't watched the trailer yet. So I'm like, oh man, if this actually ruins the movie, but it didn't.
No.
And we're going to do our best to not, and we're going to do our best to not ruin it for you either. Cause it was just released in the UK December. And then it was released here, earlier this week.
January 10th.
So,
yeah.
Yep. Starring Nick Frost, Ashlyn Bia, who
B.
She was B.
Yeah. Just the letter.
All right.
Yeah.
Like B. Arthur.
Yes.
Yes. What have I seen her in?
She was in a movie with Paul Rudd that I can't remember the name of that was on Netflix that was about duplicates, maybe? I've seen her do a lot of stand-up. I've seen her on Taskmaster. And
I have seen her do stand-up. Her stand-up is very good.
Would I Lie to You? 8 out of 10 Cats does Countdown. 8 out of 10 Cats.
Living with Yourself.
Yeah, she has a couple of shows. This End Up, I think, is one. It's like a Fleabag kind of show.
She was in a Doctor Who episode too, right?
Yes.
Okay. So she's working.
Yeah, I'm really.
Her stand-up is funny. I like her stand-up.
I'm really glad to see that because she's really funny. She's some comedians, they're like honed in on one certain type of joke. She's all over the place. I've seen her do impressions, just straight up comedy stuff, slapstick, all of it. And I think she's pretty clever and quick. So
cool. Yeah.
That's why I wanted to see it. Not because of anybody else, because I like her.
She also looks a lot like Rachel Weisz.
She does, especially in this. I thought, okay, good. Now we can make The Mummy 2, 3, 4, 5 with her in it. Because she's not bad. She's not bad with the action-y scenes in this.
No, it's good. So we've got Nick Frost, so Richard and Susan and their children, Sam and
what was
Jessie?
What was her name?
Jessie, I think, right?
I think so. Names didn't matter as much in this to me because it was mother, father, daughter, son. Solder.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. They do that creepy thing where they refer to each other as mommy and daddy, which I hate.
Which is okay. This movie is just a reference person's dream because the guy in the restaurant in the beginning, clearly that's your crazy blood curse dude. Like Nick obviously knows all of his tropes, and the mommy and daddy. I'm taking that as a reference from, I can't really say because I don't want to give anything away, from another movie. There you go.
There you go. There you go.
But it's definitely one with that you get uncomfortable when they call each other that as well in that other movie.
Yeah.
You know the movie I'm talking about.
I do. Yes, I do. So they are in Sweden. They are taking a trip to a small island just off the coast, which has a history of all kinds of stuff. But the whole thing is that they do a big play every year that is a retelling of the history of the island of Svalta. So they're going to go to that. But apparently outsiders are not welcome.
Yeah, it's not a thing you attend.
No. Outsiders are not welcomed, but Mats, who owns a house there, rents the house to them. It's a B&B. They must have got it through an app.
Yeah. They mentioned an app a few times, yeah.
Yeah, so they this is very all standard tropey stuff of like they're in the diner before they're supposed to leave, and you hear it in the trailer, and he's like, "Where are you heading?" And they're like, "Svalta," and he drops the plates and is like, "No, you can't go there."
Yep.
And they're like, "Well, why?" It's like, "Well, you won't be welcome. You can't go there." And of course they do.
Yeah.
So
because that's their vacation.
Yeah, they get on the boat. They get in the ferry. Everybody is staring at them.
Oh God, it's so bad. It's like I wanted to go home, and I was already home. That's how disturbing their staring was. So you get that start of Shadow over Innsmouth. That's they all come back to that kind of thing. But I liked how they kind of dismissed it as well. That was
Yeah. Then they show them. They're like, they go and stand outside, and like you see them, like the boat going, and like Nick Frost is standing at the bow of the boat doing the Leonardo DiCaprio thing, and it's very much the fish out of water. These guys are stupid tourists that are here to ruin stuff, because they get to the island and all of the people on the island are waiting for them.
Yeah,
and they're like, "Yeah, you gotta leave.
Go away now."
And here's the thing. If I'm in this position, I'm going away.
Yeah.
I'm like, too many people have told me that I shouldn't be here. If I didn't heed the warning of the guy at the diner, and then I didn't immediately just stay on the boat after everyone stared at us, them telling me face to face that I need to leave, I'm leaving.
Yeah. Well, because we're God damn it. It's difficult to talk about this.
Yep. We're doing pretty good so far. So this is kind of like a horror retelling of like a Midsummer or something like that, where you have like a big festival thing, and you have outsiders being brought into it, and because this is definitely horror comedy, it's played for laughs. It's serious in tone in its moments, but overall there's a lot of jokes cracked. There's a lot of silly things going on. Not like slapsticky horror or anything like that, but like definitely played for laughs.
Yeah, definitely. It's winking at the knowing audience. It's like, hey, look, I remember this, but it's not that annoying, if you will.
Right? Yeah. So they find Mats. He brings them to the house. We learn immediately that he's a weirdo.
Yeah,
like he steals the daughter's underwear, and we hear weird things from the walls.
This movie was real close to getting an F. Real close. But he doesn't. There's no sexual assault in this. There's just really uncomfortable situations that border on it.
Right.
Because he doesn't ever physically touch anyone, which I thought was interesting.
Well, he gets into the bed with her.
Yes, but that's it.
But that's it. Yeah.
And the movie's lucky that that's where they stopped.
Yeah.
But also plot-wise, you couldn't really do anything at that point. So.
No, that's right. Yeah. So at that point, is where the story makes a change. But prior to that, he's just a weirdo in like watching them, and then like all the people from the island, the Covenant as they call them, are very much like now plotting to like get rid of them, and these are our traditions. But there's also an air of like, these are old traditions, we shouldn't be doing them anymore, because one of the younger Islanders steps up and is kind of like, what are we doing here? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And it all kind of, plays itself out until it doesn't play itself out. And you get a major change. And that's where I'm going to stop talking about it, because I don't want to ruin it, because I didn't see it coming.
Well, I think I can say this stuff and have it be okay. So the original thing that happened, they do an 8-hour play. And it really is about the English fucking them over. The whole island, they keep their food, they keep them in quarantine. Years after the quarantine had lifted, then and they think with this English family coming on the 200th anniversary that it's that she thinks it's a message, and it's a reason to finish everything and have it come full circle in 200 years and be done. So now the ante has been upped, and they're not just unwelcome, they're now physically in danger. Which I liked the scaling escalation of events in this. I thought it built what felt naturally, and it worked. And I think everything that annoyed me was taken care of in the end. Some literally, some not.
Yeah. For the most part, it ties itself together quite nicely.
Yeah.
The director, Stephen Hars, is probably best known for the New Kids movies, New Kids Turbo and New Kids Nitro, which are British.
Okay.
In nature. I think, are they British, or are they? I think they're British.
No, I hadn't heard of them, so I don't know. That's all you.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So he does a good job of walking the line of actiony horror and then comedy, because at no point does the pendulum swing really one way or the other to kind of offset things, and that's an incredibly difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
When I think of films like that are able to do, like Shaun of the Dead is one of the ones that comes to mind, which obviously Nick Frost was involved in too. So, but there's not a lot that are able to be funny, and also be, for all intents and purposes, also be scary.
Yeah, like maybe the first Gremlins when you're a kid, Return of the Living Dead, Evil Dead 2. There's not many, but the ones that are, it's good company to be in.
Yeah. But they do a really good job of not swaying either way.
Yeah.
It's a well-written story too. Nick Frost wrote it. I think he does a really good job in this of playing on tropes.
Oh yeah, he knows them. He definitely knows
he knows them very well. So it's the type of thing where like his writing really holds the story together. What else can I say? Trying to think of what else I could say that's not.
While you're thinking, I'll say that in Hot Fuzz, he goes over his cop movie knowledge with Simon Pegg. And I was like, it's like, okay, sure, maybe he knows all that stuff. But then you watch this and you realize that, oh shit, he does know a lot about movies. And I'd probably spend weeks talking to him if I ever met him. So I like that. I like that. When people I like that are interested in the things I like, when they really know what they're doing and can play with the tropes and not have it feel forced, that's good. That was really good. That's what I was hoping for with this.
Yeah.
And why? This was weird. This might be me. I don't know if you noticed this. There seemed to be a few people that had like serious burns and then healed from them. So
I didn't notice.
Like Matt's skin is like it's not, I don't know, it doesn't look regular. It looks thin and fragile. And then there were two other people I think that looked like they had their faces burned. But it wasn't makeup. I think it was just the extras they hired or something. But I didn't notice it at all. I was waiting to see if there was something about a fire, but there was nothing. So hey, good, cast whoever you want. Makes sense. It's it's like if you're an amputee and you go and you want to be an extra in a zombie movie, use it to your advantage. Be the creepy villager. Good for you. Yeah, don't let it drag you down. Make use of your whatever. Why not?
Yeah, I agree. All right, Chris, do you recommend, what is your grade, and do you recommend Getaway?
I recommend it because I've been looking forward to it, so that would suck if I didn't. And I'm gonna give this right now I'll give it an A-. It was
A-. Okay.
It was pretty solid. I could, about 10 minutes before the third act, have a pretty good idea what was going on. Even if you figure out every little plot point that's going to happen, it still doesn't change the fact that when you watch what's going on, it's still fun. And that's a huge thing. So yeah, I think I'm torn between the two, but I'll go with the higher one because I did enjoy it. We all watched it together, and
nice.
We liked it. We all liked it. So yeah,
all right.
And I like the daughter, the actress that played the daughter. I hadn't seen her before, but she was nice and uncomfortable, which is exactly how she should have been.
Yeah.
So she did a good job.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to recommend it. I think it's good, not great, but it's solid. And compared to Black Cab, it's a much better film than Black Cab.
Yeah.
Not that there's any similarities other than the fact that Nick Frost is in both of them and had some of the writing credits.
Sometimes it's at night.
Yeah, I mean, overall, this is not doing anything that you haven't seen before in another horror comedy. They do everything very well, though. There's not a lot of fat to trim. You know what I mean? And it's the type of thing where you need that first hour, well, maybe not first hour, that first like 40 minutes of the setup.
Yeah.
Of the Islanders, the traditions, the whole history of, you know, the being the plague, and now they do this play that, you know, keeps the demons or whatever at bay. It all works.
Yeah, and
it all works.
Both of these don't go over 90 minutes. One's like 86 and one's 88 minutes long. So it's a tight story on both.
Nice. So nice to have short films. I think all the acting is very strong in it. I like the, you know, the tongue-in-cheek humor that they're giving with the things, and then it actually, I knew something was coming for the twist, but I'm going to be honest, I didn't call it. I wasn't really thinking about it. Like, I wasn't thinking about it.
Yeah. There was, trying to think of the right word. The extent of how far things would reach had surprised me. I hadn't thought it would be as big a thing as it was. Yeah. That's what I'll say.
That's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. So it's all very solid.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is a good film. I don't think it's great. It's not something that is going to stick with me for an extended amount of time, but I definitely enjoyed myself while watching it. So I will give it a B. Part of me wants to say B-, but you know what? I'll be kind and I'll give it a B.
Yeah, I don't think it's as bad as a B-.
No, because it's like, it's definitely when, you know me, when I say like everything, if it's fine, it gets a C. This isn't fine. This is good.
Yeah.
So like C is fine, B is good, A is great.
Yeah. Makes sense.
D is bad, and F is you shouldn't have made this movie.
Yeah, how dare you?
How dare you? I'm personally insulted. So there you have it. You have an A- from Chris and a B from me for Getaway, and that is available to watch now on Shudder.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Joe is watching, I think, Tremors 4, or is it 5? I think it's 4.
Oh, God. I don't remember now.
All right. Well, let's see. Why are you not playing? There we go.
Well, hello, Bill. Hello, Chris. And hello, OTC Nation. Your boy Joe here, and this week Bill took me to South Africa. That's where Elon Musk is from. He's the only person that I would ever tell to his face, go back where you came from. He made me watch Tremors 5, Bloodlines. Fuck that guy. I try not to give Jamie Kennedy any real estate in my gray matter. So I can't honestly remember if he's been in anything Bill has made me watch apart from the Scream movies.
Right.
And at least in those things, they knew that Malibu's Least Wanted is a small doses actor at best and never made him the focal point. If he was, they would have had to create a new term, fecal point.
Oh, yeah.
That was terrible. Don't laugh at that. I can't honestly even tell you where my hatred for him even stems from, or what it is about him that makes me want to fly out to LA, even though I hate flying, buy a map to the stars' homes, even though I think that's a scummy trade with dangerous implications. At this point, I'd probably be braving some serious ecological disaster, stepping over James Woods, crying about the house he lied about being burnt down because he's a MAGA piece of shit, only to then find Jamie Kennedy, spit in his face, push him down, and reverse the process to go home. A place I didn't want to leave in the first place.
Yeah.
What was I talking about? Oh, right.
Jamie Kennedy.
Michael Gross and his inherent charm has really kind of carried these movies where even when they were more rotten than James Woods' dick and brain, they don't even hit the bottom half of the movies that Bill has made me watch over the years.
Interesting.
9 years by my count. Hell, when I first started reviewing the Survival Guide, Obama was president. Fuck, doesn't that feel like a fucking eternity ago?
That's insane.
That is nuts.
Let's see if Michael Gross can, at the very least, cancel out the Kennedy factor. In case it needs saying, I've never seen this. Okay, this is weird. I am 37 minutes in, and so far, this is better than Tremors 3 and 4. Put together. Probably because it seems like the budget for this was at least the budget for 3 and 4 combined. I'm having a weird kind of Kafka moment here where I'm enjoying this despite a guy I want to get everyone's norovirus all at once being the second lead. Michael Gross actually seems interested in the project for the first time since part 3, and they did a little redesign on the creatures that's an actual improvement. Boys, I think they might have given a shit about the movie they were trying to make here.
No way.
I don't even know what to do with this.
I refuse to believe that.
It's been so long.
Doesn't happen.
So far, the only thing that I can knock it for is that, like a whole lot of movies, they just take a little too long to get into the meat of the matter for me. Like, I don't need the creature to show up in the first 5 minutes. Like, establish your characters and what's going on, but don't take an entire 30 minutes before something exciting happens. Please. Like the pizza guy shows up and he's got a big sausage pizza for the lonely housewife. Great. I don't need 20 minutes on the history of pizza, Naples, Italy, and the fact that the pizza guy grew up in Robbinsdale, Minnesota. Like, just fuck already. Like, in part 3, when they introduce the ass blasters, they are Christian scare film level CGI, and they look half done at that. Like here, I mean, they're built like gargoyles with the mouth of a leatherback turtle. Google the inside of a leatherback turtle's mouth if you want nightmares.
No,
I'll wait.
I'm good.
Hold on, I'm doing it.
I mean, the ass blasters in this one are quick and vicious, and the CGI is well defined and doesn't look out of place or choppy. Like, I can't believe this is any good at all.
I remember that.
As the kids would say, I'm shook. It's a little slow at the start, but once it gets going, it hits action beats at the right times and knows when to slow it down, and has a decent amount of gore from both humans and annelids alike. So Burt Gummer is hawking survival videos and meat marinades when he is sold on the idea of going to South Africa to help rid them of their graboid problem. Which is, you know, kind of the deal with now 2 of the 5 Tremors movies. And capitalizing on the money-making potential of deadly worms being a part in all 5 Tremors movies. Because America. It's not quite as rinse and repeat as the other films, but, and this might shock you, click the link below to find out more, what seemed like a basic ass blaster hunt becomes complicated when they realize that the underground worm graboids are evolving and are now like air jaws and shit, all like jumping out of the dirt to make a snack out of people. There's guns and gore, thrilling problem solving ensue. I still don't like him, but even Kennedy was tolerable here. Which leads me to my only beef with this movie. Ahem. With like 20 minutes to go in the movie, fully in the midst of like the climactic action sequence with the big ass graboid, people in danger, you get the idea. Kennedy stops and he asks Burt if he has ever seen the Grateful Dead. WT fuck? We ask ourselves.
Usually there's a point to that.
He then goes on to tell him that in 1969, the hippie girl who was selling beads in the parking lot of the Dead concert next to where Burt was selling guns and found far-right conspiracy gun nut Burt Gummer so attractive that not only did she let him presumably thrust and grunt on top of her, but actually let him nut in her, is his mom. And that Burt is his dad.
I got that when you started telling
which is why he became the cameraman for his survivalist videos and joined him on a trip halfway around the world to kill Dirt Jaws. I'm not even mad that that's where they went with this story, really. It's the timing. There were a baker's dozen moments where you could have dropped that on him and made it like a moment. And you chose when like your heart rate is through the roof, the bitter taste of adrenaline in your mouth, fight or flight, we're probably going to get eaten by a big worm. Hey, this feels right. I love you, Dad.
Yeah.
This movie was surprisingly good. Here's the thing. The good. It's got the best pacing since the first one. It's got a lot more gore than normal for these. The best worm/ass blaster design to date, minus the OG movie. And the jokes were actually jokes. I didn't laugh at all of them, but they were recognizable as jokes. And they haven't done that since the second movie. Now the bad. They made me tolerate someone who I hope gets Ebola. Jamie fucking Kennedy. I don't know if he's a member of the OTC Nation, but Jamie, if you're listening, I mean, if you don't know by now, nothing I can say will clarify my position, U. Tremors 5 is going to get a solid B. I'll be back next week with Tremors 6, co-starring Guess Who. Cautious optimism is engaged. Until then, be good, everyone.
I am shook that he enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's surprising. That is very surprising.
Crazy. All right. Speaking of crazy, Reverend Scott is back this week. Let's see if he can piss off the listenership again. Ahoy, hoy. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Outside the Cinema, your weekly source for cult movie discussions. Your hosts, Bill and Chris. We're a little late this week because I forgot to send Chris movies early enough for us to record our normal time, and then he had some work stuff, so
yeah,
a little late. It all
kind of actually worked out.
Yeah, well, it's actually only going to be late for Patreon.
So, in other words, me specifically. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
With Reverend Scott.
You don't want to do coke? Fucking kill yourself. I'm not going to do drugs. Oh, but I'll definitely pretend to kill myself. I don't remember saying that at all.
I don't remember you saying that either.
Hey there, Bill and Chris. This is Reverend Scott.
You're an idiot.
Yeah, get out of here, American. Where's my J&B?
Right next to your cigarettes and your detective badge, I assume.
Only
and here we are, another holy shit in 2025. And quickly I'm realizing that times, they are a-changin'. And no, that's not a subtle way of saying that I'm reviewing a complete unknown. I don't give a shit about that whiny fuck. No, I'm saying that recently I took a temporary assignment at my job to fill in for my boss's vacant position. So does that mean I get to stop doing my job and just do my boss's job now?
Yeah, no, it's either. It's both at the same time.
That's right. I get the pleasure of doing both jobs simultaneously. Jobs that no one else does, so no one else can pick up the slack. Just how I like it. To say things are quite busy lately would be quite the understatement of the year. So right now, do I have time to spend hours and hours doing a 12-minute long segment, not only reviewing what I watched, but also some 80s flick called Nothing Underneath and
The Long Hair of Death?
Oh, God.
Hell no, I'm not doing all that. This week, this segment is just going to be only reviewing something I watched. There will be no grades of your reviews.
Oh. No, why would there be? We only need it.
Oh, I know exactly what you need, and it's to know your new opinion of Squid Game Season 2.
Oh, God, yeah.
I didn't watch Season 1.
So I'll quickly say I'll do my best to not spoil anything for Season 2, and I'll leave out any of the twists that were in Season 1 as well, except for, maybe who won Season 1, because it's pretty fucking obvious who it was going to be. The only people that probably didn't guess who was going to win Squid Game Season 1 were probably the same people that couldn't guess who was going to win the Hunger Games.
Shit. I didn't know that.
Squid Game Season 2 picks up exactly where Season 1 leaves off. Ji-hun now has hundreds of millions of dollars and lives a carefree life relaxing on a beach by his mansion on his own private island.
Yeah, me too.
Just kidding. Ji-hun is now living in a run-down abandoned hotel that he bought in the 3 years since he won the game, plotting how he can find the people responsible for the game and get his revenge. Like a normal person would do with millions of dollars.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he enlists the help of a cop that actually knows someone involved and a group of men for hire. He has resources, the time, and just the right amount of knowledge about how they recruit people into the games to try to get a lead. So they start with the first place that you would look and scour the subways trying to find the man that originally offered Ji-hun the chance to play. They only call him the salesman. He quickly became a favorite character in Season 2 for me. He's demented, crazy, and incredibly evil. I'm not going to tell you all the details, but I just hope you're a fan of Russian roulette. because not everybody in this show was.
That was a little tough, but I get it.
Finding the salesman eventually leads to information on how Ji-hun might make his way back into the games and try and expose the front man and all the elites involved.
Because that's how it works. Right, Chris?
In movies, sure.
Season 2 of Squid Game does something that a few other movies have done that I've always found interesting. Movies like Hostel 2, Cube Zero, or Cabin in the Woods, they all find ways to show you some of the behind the scenes and inner workings of things that were previously a mystery.
Which I always appreciate.
Another cool thing Squid Game Season 2 shows you is a character that gets recruited for a much different role, and how it can still be very dangerous regardless if you're handed a cookie or a mask with a triangle on it. So not only do you get to see more games in this one, you get to see new characters and how they react to Ji-hun trying to give them advice based on his prior wisdom. But we also get to see more people who run the show and participate in it.
It checks all the boxes.
Yeah, it does.
But is this a perfect season? Of course not. Occasionally, we get pulled away from the games to see the police officer and the men that were hired by Ji-hun out on a boat trying to find the island that the games are being held on. And while there's some interesting things to find out about those characters and their journey, it's just far less interesting than the things that are happening to the characters in the games. Also, this season is shorter, and by the end, it definitely feels shorter. That doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing, but here's the problem.
It sort of feels like a mess, but it wrapped up really satisfying for me.
Well, I was going to say, the last 10 minutes are excellent.
Except for Squid Game Season 2, it's the opposite of that. Much of the final episode of Season 2, for some people, is probably a very messy watch. And only having 7 episodes to play things out might be the reason. But in comparison, Loki Season 2 was quite a bit shorter than Season 1 and still managed to finish out a complete story. Squid Game Season 2 feels like, Puppet Master 4, made solely as a lead-in to the next and final Season 3 that's coming out later this year. So I guess I won't judge it too harshly as an overall show yet, but as a standalone season, the end kinda made it feel lacking. To say I enjoyed Season 1 a lot better would be quite an understatement, but Season 2 is still a fun watch. I enjoyed flying through all the episodes quite a bit. So overall, I think I give it a straight B. But the real question is, will Season 3 exceed my expectations and redeem Squid Game overall?
No. Well, yeah, of course that's supposed to happen.
Right.
I guess we'll see when I review that. At least you only have a matter of months instead of a matter of years this time. So Squid Game, I'll see you later.
Yeah, see you later.
So until the next South Korean Killer Kids game, peace and love, guys. Outside the Cinema. Watch Bill and Chris live every week on Twitch.
There's not much to look at.
It's interesting that they essentially made the seasons back to back and made them each shorter.
Yeah.
Rather than just doing like a full, because I haven't watched Squid Game. I haven't watched either season. How many episodes was I think was it a 10 episode run in the first season?
That was like 10 years ago. I don't remember now.
But it's just interesting that they cut the episodes down to make them come out quicker, but you're actually getting less TV.
Yeah, well, that's Netflix.
Whatever.
I've decided with Netflix, I'm just going to stop watching stuff until the creator has said, yep, that's the final episode. We were able to do it.
Yep, that makes sense. Thank you guys very much for listening to Outside the Cinema this week. Each and every week, we bring you a show. Join our Patreon, patreon.com/outside the cinema. All the donations go into keeping the show alive and fixing stuff that breaks and paying bills that the show incurs.
Yeah.
Follow us on Instagram at OTCBill at Cthulhu. Join our Facebook group. And just be cool. Be cool, man.
Yeah.
All right. I'm done. Chris, anything else?
Nah, I'm good.
All right. Have a good week, guys.
Bye.